What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the TP-Link Deco AXE5400 Wi-Fi 6E baby mesh system. So what's important about this system? It's a tri-band and it offers us 6 gigahertz. So we're going to get a 2.4 gigahertz band, a 5 gigahertz band, and a 6 gigahertz band to help us decongest our Wi-Fi networks. Most people don't have a lot of Wi-Fi 6E capable devices that have that 6 gigahertz band. So what we can do is we can use it as a backhaul between these two devices to link them together. And that's gonna really give us better speed and better ping over Wi-Fi. I mean, we're talking like near Ethernet speeds in some cases if you're close enough to the access point. So enough about that. Let's get into the unboxing. And you'll see as we open this up, we're presented with both of the Deco 6E routers. Getting a closer look at these, you'll see that they both offer 3 gigabit Ethernet ports. And then there's a place at the very bottom where we'll plug in the power supply. And just to show you, both of these are identical. They actually don't look very bad. Looks like you could put them anywhere on a shelf. You don't have to really hide it like the routers that have antennas and look ugly. Moving on to the package at the bottom. This is where we will have hopefully some Ethernet cables and power adapters. And it looks like we have 2 power adapters for each device, along with a quick installation guide. And it looks like it comes with a single Cat6 Ethernet cable. The setup process requires you to download the TP-Link Deco application on your smartphone or tablet, and then the process is fairly straightforward. We're just going to plug in the power, and then you'll plug in an Ethernet cable into the first Ethernet port on the back of either one of these devices, and then from there you will just plug it into the back of your modem. I would recommend going into your modem settings and turning the Wi-Fi off on your modem if your modem is a modem and router / gateway combination. That way you're not getting any kind of interference over the same Wi-Fi channels that'll weaken your Wi-Fi signal. So you want to make sure you do that. Every modem is going to be different, so I can't really help you out with that, but just make sure you check that box before you set this up. Okay, so let's walk through the TP-Link Deco Setup using the app on your cellular device. The first thing we need to do is set up our local permissions. So once you agree to all of those things, you're going to be greeted to a welcome to Deco screen. From there, you're going to need to set up an account if you've never used a TP-Link product before. If you have, then you should be able to use the same login and password that you've used on previous routers for this one. And then from there, you will be able to choose which Deco router you have from a list of all the ones that they have available. So in my case, they actually don't have the AXE5400 listed. It's actually listed by model number, which you can get off of the bottom of your box by your serial number. So we are going to select the XE75. This shows what we're going to need to set it up. This is telling us that we need to power off our modem, so we can go ahead and do that and click next. Then what you're going to want to do is just make sure that you're plugging in all the devices. So you're going to plug in your Ethernet cable into the back of the Deco device. You're going to plug that into the back of your modem. You're going to power on the device. So solid yellow means that it's booting up. You're going to wait for it to be flashing blue, and then from there it will ask you to join the router. So it will actually search for it. It will ask you which room it is in your house, and then it will go through and it will detect all of your network information based on the information it's getting directly from the modem. From there, it will allow you to create an SSID, so that's the name that you want displayed for your Wi-Fi network, and then a password. Once you're done with that, it's going to create the Wi-Fi network. Once it's done, it's going to ensure that you want to connect to it, so you just click connect, and then on your iPhone, I don't know how it works on Android, but on an iPhone you'll get a pop-up that says select join. You just click join, and then it will connect to your network. Once it's set up, you're going to want to select the plus sign in the upper right hand corner. This is going to allow you to add the other Deco in the kit. So from there, you will just select Deco, and then we'll scroll back down and we'll select the exact same model again. And then it's going to show you a map of where it thinks you should place the devices based on how many stories you have in your house. Once you figure out placement, you will select next, and then the setup process is basically identical. If you're going to use wireless backhaul, all you need to do is find a place and plug it in. If you're going to do wired, then you would obviously need to run an Ethernet cable from this device to the first one that we plugged into our modem. Once you have all of that done, it will take you back to the home screen where it will show you that both of them are connected. Now, let's get into some range and speed tests. Rather than show you guys a bunch of speed tests all over my house, this was the worst spot when we were utilizing the Wi-Fi built into our internet service provider's modem. So we pay for T-Mobile 5G home internet, and on average we get about 680 megabits per second down if you are fairly close to the modem. As you can see here on the left hand side, we got about 32 megabits per second down. And when we hooked up the TP-Link Deco mesh system in the exact same spot, we are getting 558 megabits per second down. So that is a drastic improvement. Let's see how far away I can go before I lose Wi-Fi. My house is way down there. I gotta be honest with you guys, I'm surprised that this is working, especially at this rate. So 25 megabits per second down is actually not bad considering how far away from the router I am. Let's see if we can go farther. I made it another 50 feet before it cut out. After it disconnected, all I had to do was turn around and face my house, and the Wi-Fi picked right back up. I was able to do this speed test that you see here, and we're getting roughly the same speeds that we were getting 50 feet or so closer to my house, which is really impressive. Now let's get back inside and take some time to cover the TP-Link Deco app and show you some of the controls, and then we'll cover the web interface. So most of the controls for this device is done through the Deco app on your phone or your tablet. And you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but what I really don't like, I feel like they took a lot of functionality away from what TP-Link routers used to give you. And it's even less so if you're trying to access that information on a computer, which we'll get to here in just a second. So across the bottom we have these tabs: Overview, Smart Actions, Home Shield, and more. If we click on Overview, that just gives us our clients and then our location, so it'll show you all the devices that are connected to the router. Smart Actions is where you can set up different shortcuts to execute, and it also does stuff with home automation or IoT devices. Home Shield is something that you used to get for free through TP-Link if you have any of the Archer routers, but now if you want any kind of parental controls, or you want to like tweak Wi-Fi channels or do quality of service stuff, it requires a subscription. And so you get kind of some basic stuff in here, but for the most part it requires a subscription. It just sucks. If we go to the More tab, the router settings is where you're going to do most of your stuff. So we have Wi-Fi, which just shows us our bands, your SSID name, the security that you have on it, and you can change that all the way up to WPA3 if you need to. And then you can decide in here how you want to use a 6 gigahertz band. I have it currently set it as dedicated backhaul. You can also set up a guest network if you need to. If you go to advanced, this is where you can do some of your IPv4 and IPv6 stuff. You can set up various settings. I don't want to go through every single one of them in here, but I'll just scroll here for you guys so you can take a look at what's in here. So you do get some control. I just feel like they took a lot of stuff away, and that's a shame. One thing that's worth noting is if you use a home internet through a cellular company, so AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, you are not able at this time to change the MTU on the router. So T-Mobile is what we use, and it actually requires 1420. Standard is 1500, but if you're using, let's say, non-standard internet, it needs to be updated, and that's going to affect your speed and your ping. So unfortunately for us, I don't think that this is something that I'm probably going to hold on to, but I was unaware of that when we purchased this. Moving on, you are able to block devices, so you have a deny list where you can block and unblock people from using the internet or children. That's about as good as it gets for parental controls when it comes to things that are free. WPS, you have that to easily connect to your devices. You have an update tab, which does work. As soon as I plugged it in, there was a firmware update. And then there's a manager's tab, so you can add more than one person to the account. So you could have like 2 adults that are able to log into the app with their own login and change settings. And that is it for the app on the phone. Now let's take a look at what you can do on the computer. Switching over to the computer, let's take a look at the web interface. So we need to go to the IP address 192.168.68.1 to log into the router. For this router, you're going to need to type in the password for your TP-Link account that you set up when you set up the router initially. Once we log in, you'll be able to see a network map where it shows if you're connected to the internet. It will show however many meshes you have connected together, and then it'll give you some basic information if we scroll down here. So you'll be able to see your wireless network configuration, so your SSID, which bands you're using, things like that. If we scroll back up to the top, you'll be able to click on the button to the right that says Advanced. So if we select that, then you'll be able to see a little bit more information. So from here, we'll be able to take a look at your subnet mask, your gateway address, your DNS, all of that kind of stuff, MAC addresses. But note, you can't change anything from this interface. This is purely just to be able to view it. You can't edit or alter any information on these screens so far. If we head over to the left-hand side under System, for firmware upgrade, you can do a manual firmware upgrade on this router from the web interface. Next, we have the system log, which is just going to show you any kind of errors or anything that the router is logging. You have your time settings, which will allow you to change your time zone. Mine's just set to do it automatically. You can reboot either one of the mesh systems or routers from this web interface by clicking on the power button to the right, or reboot both from the bottom. And then last, we have the system parameters on the left, which will allow you to enable a couple of these features that you see here. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Smash that bell icon, and let me know down in the comments if you guys have a different Wi-Fi mesh system and how that's working out for you. That's it. Peace.